We are John and Ellie, the Barefoot Doctors. We lost our new Leopard 50 catamaran to fire, so we began our search for the perfect performance catamaran for sailing us around the world. Jump on board for this adventure, and together, who knows what we can achieve? Because life is better barefoot.
Hello everybody, it's 7 AM on the day of our departure from St Helena, and it's a little still overcast, but the sun is coming out. Last night was a beautiful clear sky, and I was really hoping for a lovely clear day, but the clouds have come back. Here is the buoy that they have at St Helena. We've tied on with cow hitches and 3 ropes, 1 to each corner, and obviously, oh wow, look at that. The shackles, and we tied that shackle on a string, and wow, look at that. If we hadn't no man. So that was just hanging over the loop on the mooring line and could have just fallen off into the sea, but because we had and also obviously wow, look at how much force there was on the seizing wire, and it's come off, it's broken. It was a reuse seizing wire, so maybe that is a lesson. Don't reuse seizing wire. Oh, she's cool.
Got it. You already have it. I'm not a ballerina like Paul. I'm going back in. Bye bye.
And we're going to let that one go.
Yeah.
So you're completely not attached to the boat.
That's fine.
And then we might come and pick you up.
Yeah.
If you're nice to us. Well done.
Tell.
This is St Helena Radio, St Helena Radio, St Helena Radio. Go ahead with your message, Trevor.
St Helena Radio, we are just reporting in to say that we have just departed from the mooring buoys, and we would just like to give our thanks for the friendliness of the people on the island, the excellent hospitality. We had a wonderful few days here. We had a wonderful tour of Robert yesterday, and we're looking forward to coming around again. Over.
Thank you. This is St Helena Radio. Thank you very much for letting us know. Have a safe and happy journey. This is St Helena Radio, standing by on channel 16.
So tell us about how strenuous that was, Mark.
It was tiring because the thing is bouncing and all the lines are under tension, so you're trying to loosen a knot, even a sailing knot under tension that isn't easy to open under tension.
And you're at full stretch.
And you're full stretch and you're bouncing. Swimming back there after doing all of that, towing a rope, which is a drog, it's quite a good morning workout.
So soon you're going to be hot, tight, fit, muscular. And Polly's not going to believe the Superman she's going to see in 3 weeks' time.
I wouldn't go that far because I'm going to have a beer now. Everything needs to be balanced. You can't be too healthy.
So we have 3 lines, and this at the drop off around St Helena is where we're most likely to catch fish. Fingers crossed we might get something. If not, we have to wait. Our fishing setup, and I can't say it's been successful, so I wouldn't recommend anybody copies what we're doing because it hasn't worked yet. But we live in hope. Goodbye, St Helena. It was great. We had an absolutely wonderful time here, and I'd recommend everybody who comes to St Helena, go and visit Anne's place, the most fantastic restaurant, lovely people, and great prices for the meals, food, and great Guinness, by the way. Lots of other great things to see on St Helena. It's a wonderful place. It's an island of contrasts. You have the austere rocks that you see here, then you have some areas that are like desert, and then you have some lush, almost rainforest stuff, and there was mushrooms growing on the pathway because it is so damp. So guys, hope you enjoyed that. and do come and stay in St Helena. Say hello to Richard and Jane from us, because they run Anne's place. Anne was Richard's mother. The officials are all really friendly too, you know. There was no hassle. They told us very clearly, you know, what we needed to do. St Helena's great, and support the economy by visiting St Helena and spending some time there. We are traveling around 4,000 miles to St Lucia directly across the top of South America, and then straight up the coast to the Caribbean. St Helena behind us, and then the horizon, the horizon, the horizon, and more horizon.
I think there are a couple things about it. One is, you know, us going through that early and just sort of seeing that, I think, was important, and A, to get our sea legs, and two, just how this boat moves through 5-6 meter waves, and us doing that literally starting on, we were 12 hours out and kind of into the thick of it. I think it instills a lot of confidence in the belief that this boat doesn't creak, and it just moves through and rolls with the waves just wonderfully. It was a great opportunity to see how the boat performs, and I think it exceeded everybody's expectations, and especially for me, having not been through that on a Leopard 50 before. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, I think it's something that I think it'd be great if most new boat owners of a Leopard 50 could actually just feel that, because the trepidation probably to move into those types of seas and winds, you know, if you're doing coastal cruising, or, you know, in our case, you know, going through Devon, it's like, oh, we'll just wait it out and not go that day. But now, having seen that, it's like, okay, not that you would proactively go looking for it, but I think it's when you get into that situation, you can have the utmost confidence that this boat's going to hold up and handle really well in those situations.
So there were a few big waves, so the boat would kind of do a few little surfs down the waves, and side swell we got as well. How do you feel about that?
Again, that there's nothing on this boat with how it managed those waves that you would say, oh gosh. I mean, there was no bow digging or anything like that. It's like, yeah, you just sort of slid down the wave, and they were, I wouldn't say incredibly tight intervals, but they were reasonably tight for that initial stretch when we were moving out. And again, it's like the boat just comes down those waves and sort of rides and, you know, comes back up again. So did get some good footage of sitting in the aft cockpit and watching the boat go up and down, where, you know, all of a sudden that wave is above where the solar panels are in the back. You're like, this is going to be interesting. And sure enough, and then, you know, the boat rides it up, rides it down. So it sent it out to a few of my friends, and they were like, oh my god. But when you're on a boat, and when a boat of this size, it's like, it really, honestly, it was comfortable.
Like, how loud was it? Like,
oh, it was loud. I mean, it's a big smack into the side of the hulls that you're like, boom. But it's not boom. Whoosh. So no, you get used to the slapping, I think, pretty quickly. Like anything, once you've sort of settled in and sort of like, oh, it's normal and the boat's fine, I think you quickly sort of become a believer of how well these boats are made and their ability to, you know, handle sea states like that.
but there you go. Parasailer to take us 4,000 miles or so. There's the main down, triangulated so it doesn't flop around.
With the Oxley, you've got a 360 degree, you can see the horizon clearly. If you were flying a Jenica or a Genoa, you've got that whole area there close to you, and then you have to walk around the boat quite often. Here you've got a beautiful 360 view with the Oxley.
Maybe 150, fluctuating, you could not do this with the main up. We seem to be fairly consistently doing roughly half of true wind speed. As everybody knows, I much prefer to use true wind speed as a reference point, because I want to know how fast we're going in that wind, not apparent wind, because that's so much affected by your own boat speed, and if you're in a performance boat, it's dramatically different. So we are first night out after leaving St Helena, and I wake up to a most wonderful rainbow. Look at that. You just have to admire nature and the beauty that it shares with us. Just incredible. So we put up the Oxley after we left St Helena, and it's been up ever since, which is now, it's not quite 24 hours, but close to 24 hours. It's the morning of the next day. We've been sailing along at 6 to 8, sometimes 10 knots, depending on the wind speed, basically doing half of the true wind speed quite consistently with the Oxley, so that's great. At 10 knots of wind speed we get 5 knots, at 14 we get 7, etc. At 20 knots we get 10 knots of winds of boat speed. So
So you're storing the cheese. Can you tell us how you're doing that?
Yeah, there was a little bit of mold on to open it up, so what we normally do, cover it with a bit of olive oil and then put it in cling wrap and into the freezer.
Okay. Cut it up into small pieces so it's easy to use.
Exactly. So if you want to take a piece out, keep that in the fridge. It won't grow any mold if you use that within the next 2-3 days. It'll be fine. Yeah. So like a piece of mold like that.
I just cut the mold off.
Yeah, just take a peeler like that.
Another pro tip from Paul.
absolutely spectacular, very easy going and absolutely gorgeous.
So we are between Africa and South America, obviously. St Helena is right here under the yellow dot, and our destination is St Lucia up there in the Caribbean. We've been going now for 2 days almost, and we still have 3,400 or so miles to go, nautical miles that is. So that's the straight line distance. We undoubtedly will come down here a little bit closer to the American coast to catch the winds and avoid the doldrums which are sitting across the middle there.
So this is what it looks like from the back cockpit. Sun is just starting to get above that cloud there, so very soon we'll have solar energy coming in. See the sun just popping out there. That's a great sight to see.
You know, just another relaxing day on the SVC Central. You know, we're not exactly trying to push the boat hard. We're chilling out. As you can see, we're cooking food. We are. You know, relaxing. I'm working. We have the sail set now for.
We have 2 days and we haven't touched them.
We haven't touched it. Touch the wheels. Stick on the autopilot. You know, it's really tough here. Tough sailing. And you know, we're going to just take a look at how the other boats are doing. You know. So let's pop up the TV. You know, we're living comfortably here with our Starlight.
So we have a nice green salad.
Kind of Mediterranean chicken.
Mediterranean chicken.
So that's tzatziki sauce. Homemade. Those are fries.
Hi folks, we'd just like to interrupt our usual episode by sending out a heartfelt thoughts and prayers to all those people that were involved in the Maui terrible fires.
It's been horrifying loss of property and loss of lives, so this is really very tragic for the whole community.
Captain Bill Burkett lives in Maui, one of our loyal subscribers, and we just want to reach out to him and hope that his family and he are safe and doing okay.
And on that note, Donna Gartner, who's one of our loyal subscribers, reached out to us suggesting that we could offer our TUFMINDS services because there is so many people that still need so much help out there.
So John and I would like to announce that we want to offer free counselling with our effective TUFMINDS processes to anyone that was affected by those terrible fires.
This includes a unique toolkit of strategies to help reframe negative experiences.
And creates a positive, resilient mindset.
Look, this works for anxiety, stress, trauma, grief, bereavement, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and is effective for a whole range of conditions. To reach out, you can put your comments down below or contact us on our Facebook, Barefoot Doctors, or email me on drjohnmcintosh@tpg.com.au. Also, please pass this information on to anyone who may benefit and also any yachties involved.
So John and I send all our love out to anyone out there affected by the fires. And now we go back to the video.
Okay guys, so we are now on day 20. It's the morning. My shift today is 10 to 2. I do lunches as well, but I just thought I'd bring you out here to show you what's happening. And really, since we left St Helena, we've put up this Oxley Levante, which is a parasail with the wing in the middle, and it has really been up all the time. We changed it to the port tack to get a little bit more northerly, but we're heading very deep downwind, about 165 to the true wind, and we are just zooming along very easily and very peacefully. Okay, the wind is just picking up with big white horses. It's going between 18 and 25 knots of true, but also apparent wind is picking up with 15 knots, and that's really the limit for the Oxley. And look at the swell now, it's getting a bit severe. In the interest of wisdom, we're going to take the Oxley down and just sail under a Genoa for a while. So that's what we're going to do right now. It's now sunset. We put the Oxley back up, and there it is. We took it down because the wind got up to above 20 knots, and then the wind calmed down again, so the Oxley went back up again. We are catching up, ironically, the balance. So balance 52, we have gained 30 miles in the last 24 hours on this balance, which is quite amazing. So it'll be interesting to see if we actually catch it up and overtake it. That would be just outrageously ridiculous. But anyway, we will keep on doing what we're doing, which is nothing except having the Oxley up and having it on auto helm. We're doing about 6 or 7, I know, 7 knots really. Well, that'll be a bit of a surf. And a deceleration as you get to the top of the wave, and I haven't got anything to hang on to here. Now, I think I will hang on actually. So at this point, the fish were winning in this competition against the essential 3-0. They had taken 2 of our lures and pulled one of our very heavy hooks out straight. We, on the other hand, only had caught a bonito, which we put straight back. The lures we lost were commercial lures with nylon leaders, and clearly the teeth of the fish just cut straight through those leaders and went off with our lures. We then replaced the nylon leaders with stainless steel, and this is what we had in the water at this time. Okay, fish on. You saw Dorado, did you pull?
Waru or Dorado? Australia.
Okay.
baby. Alcohol. Who's the best for flipping and sculpting and taking out hearts?
I would assume we have a doctor on board. I'm hoping he's got some skills.
So I've got my morning task set out for me, have I?
It's the first fish landed on my boat.
See if you can lift it right up.
Oh, that's good.
It's okay.
Come on, muscles.
Slippery.
Oh,
Yeah, that is the one.
there we go. That's the money
that's the
shot.
So can you explain why you're doing this?
It absorbs all the moisture in the fish so you can freeze it properly, and when you take it out, the paper comes off very, very easily.
Okay.
So that would be normally like one meal, and then you would take another piece of paper towel, put it on top of it. And then like that goes into a jiffy bag.
Just like that?
Just like that. I'm going to take this other paper plate off, just like that. You can see how it's absorbing all the moisture already.
So 5 steaks for 1 meal each.
Alright, and then you take a straw. We're right on there, ready in a hurry. If you're sailing with the Oxley sail, any downwind sail, you can't just stop the boat immediately. If you were in a rod and reel, you haven't got it at all that much power to bring a boat in. You wouldn't be able to bring it in. If you're sailing, if you're sailing on the main sail and Genoa, you can easily just crash tack and stop the boat immediately and then fight. But yeah, when we sail downwind sails, we always use hand lines, just you know you're going to catch the fish. Yeah.
And how difficult was it to pull in? Just
You can ask Neil. He tried and then he said no, you can give it back to me. But we did use pigskin gloves. You can't just bring it in with your bare hands. We did use pigskin gloves to bring the... And we used 1.5, actually 2 millimeter flat braided line. It's nice and thin and you can bring it in. And it's got 1.5 tons breaking strain, so and a big double hook. So you know if you're going to catch, you're not going to lose it easily.
sashimi. This is from a fish caught an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago.
Kept us busy this morning.
Well,
A very nice but explosion in my mouth.
A matchstick, like a matchstick's head, like this, a matchstick.
wasabi is strong.
This much wasabi.
Thanks for watching, guys, and if you like what we do, show us the love and hit the like button. Then hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well, so you don't miss out on your regular fix. Then kick off your shoes and you can come barefoot with us.